All right, everybody. How is everybody doing today? Welcome to the Elite Podcast. Today, we're joined by Creepy Banana, also known as Creepy Nanners. He's got many aliases, but the only thing you have to know is that he's used as comical relief to
Just
make
call me Big
comedians fall
Daddy.
over. Sure. That's his.
My other alias.
Oh my god. And then aka Big Daddy. And we've got Kaiser,
Hello.
my other half, in the
Hello.
Elites.
AKA
Can
Can I
Ginger
just
Daddy.
give you a compliment on your cap that you're wearing right now? That looks beautiful.
Or you mean Creepies, right?
Oh, yours.
Oh. There's actually a K on it for crew, but you can pretend it's Kaiser.
Yeah, it's Kaiser.
It's
You're
like
the
one of
Kaiser
those
crew
Louis
now.
Vuitton ones.
Yeah, I know, right? This is one of my flap brims. I have a nice collection. But who do we got? We got right now. So we're live streaming this, and normally we record these podcasts, but we wanted to bring the audience in since it's slightly relevant. We've got Cyan and Flemma. We're talking about chat engagement today. So one of the topics that many streamers and other content creators in different facets find important is chat engagement, especially with live streaming because it all happens literally on the fly. And there's usually no editing and there's no way of preparing. You're just kind of interacting as it goes on. So, Flemmy, give me some of that food. So, with that said, what I would like to start with everybody is when you started streaming specifically, okay? What did it take for you to concentrate on chat and also the media you were streaming or the game? So when you started out, was it a high learning curve? What threw you guys for a loop? And what did it take for you to really concentrate?
Shall I start?
Yeah, let's throw it to Kaiser.
Okay, so I think that everybody who says that it all comes naturally is just a big fat liar. I don't feel like when you start to stream, anybody can compare that to the level you reach at some point with the experience you have, with maybe a vibrant chat that is already there. The beginning is by far the most difficult part of streaming. And the further down the line you get, the more buzzing the chat gets, the more easy it is to feed them or be fed by chat in terms of like funny things that happen or trolls or good shots or hits or whatever your content is about. So I feel like anybody that says like, "Hey, I started and I was already acing it," that's a lie. That's just not possible. I do
I
feel
was
like
acing it.
I do feel like there's a shift between um, the shift between characters. I think characters is the right word there. Like if you are already a natural like salesperson and you get along with people very quickly in terms of talking to one another and you feel comfortable doing that, your streamer life is going to be maybe a little bit more easy, if I can say it like that, compared to when you have social anxiety or you struggle with keeping conversations going. For if I speak for myself, I've always been a person that can't stand silence at all. So even if there's nobody, I would just talk to myself all the time and be silly and trolling myself about certain things that happen in games because yeah, that's just in my character. But I feel like a, a big part of how you are as a streamer is how your characters build up, and that reflects on the type of content that you deliver.
Yeah, I
And
agree.
for me, so I started like on 5%, and now I'm maybe at 15.
Mm-hmm.
There's still so much to learn every single day, everything that you do, and like remembering what's happened with your community, etc., etc. So yeah, I started for me also in a second language, which is made yeah, there you go, make things sometimes a little bit more difficult. Um,
But funny.
yeah, you can troll around with it. Like the first time
Yeah.
I yelled "get snippet" when I shot someone in the head with my sniper gun. I know it's sniper or sniper shot or whatever, but I yelled "get snippet, son," and that just went that blew up. I even got merch. I sold merch with it. It got
Mm-hmm.
that big because indeed I used my accent that I tried to keep to a minimum, but I used it in that way to at least utilize my channel further towards the future. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, a wise person takes the whack pack roll or the troll roll and spins it into something positive. So that's
Yep.
awesome.
Yep.
So another thing too is I see on the side, Flemma had a good point, and before we get into creepy, I wanted to address this. So if you're actually playing a game, if you're playing a story game, whatever media you're showing, like sometimes I will broadcast "You Laugh, You Lose" videos and kind of news stories if I'm feeling up to it, and it's easier to communicate with chat. So if you're choosing the media that you're going to stream is very helpful. She says she plays story games. It makes it easier to pause. Not like a multiplayer game where you really have to be on your A game the whole time. So
Yep.
choosing that is very
The
very
content that you deliver, the
important.
content, yeah, I fully agree. The content with what you deliver is essentially the basic foundation of what your channel on at least that day or that period is going to be like. There's a downside of pausing games that you are at that moment really in. So there's also moments where you just have to stay a view and watch the cinematics for a while because you got to get like that feeling also has to deflect towards your community. So there's that. But I agree with like the basic sentiment of it, that if you play a certain range of games like RPG or anything like that, it's more easy to at least pause when there's something big going on. On the other side, those games are either, for take the example of Cyberpunk 2077, which is now, of course, a big game that everyone wants to play. I didn't stream it for a reason. I want the full experience, and I know that I am not gonna get it when I'm streaming it myself because I can't do two things at the same time. And at the same time, I think my audience either want to play it themselves and don't want to get spoiled, or don't want to
Yeah,
get
that's important.
spoilers. Yeah,
But yeah,
and
Mm.
on the
we're gonna get into that because I wanted
yeah,
to talk to you too about like actually choosing and the game or the media you want to showcase and what it means to stream versus enjoy it, and people don't understand that. But before we get into that, creepy, I wanted to ask you as well. When you started out, what for you did you have to learn about engagement? And at first, what were some hurdles that you had to overcome? And do you feel that at the onset that you were kind of a natural with it, or did anything kind of throw you for a loop?
I don't think I was ever a natural at it. What I did do though was when I started streaming, I played a game, Euro Truck Simulator. So it was
Hmm.
very much just a sort of a chill game where I played music when there wasn't, back when there wasn't so much DMCA stuff going on. Um, but it was just me driving a virtual truck, and people would come in, you'd have a conversation about life or the music that's being played, or most of the time they would troll me and laugh if I ever crashed and stuff like that. But a bit like what Kaiser is saying, for me, like I never played the first person shooter games, mainly because I found it very difficult to concentrate on chat
Yeah.
unless I die. Well, I mean, I always die. We know it's me. I'm not good at those games. But like I would usually only able to like look at chat at the end, like in between like lobbies or whatever. But when there was actually playing, I can't focus on that and then look at chat.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the dichotomy of trying to keep up with the game and chat, kind of like what I just said before, and what you're willing to play and sacrifice for it. And we're gonna touch base on that too. But before we gotta get into the next area on this, something that I wanted to bring up was when you're actually, getting into it, and you start to build a foundation and you start to find your strengths. A lot of people at the beginning are a natural. And I would say that Kaiser's point of being a salesperson or a customer facing individual, or you just have good personable skills and speaking skills. I do think that some people are really made for it, not necessarily, something that's just going to fit like a puzzle piece, but the talents are there and
you at least
the
hold the piece.
career opportunities there. Yeah,
Yeah.
but I feel like some people definitely are naturals, but they have to learn the ropes of what people expect of a streamer. Um,
I would like to add for myself, I'm quite dyslexic.
yeah, there's a challenge.
So reading chat like my reading is okay, but not enough that like if chat is going fast, I find it very
Hmm.
hard to keep up with chat.
Yeah, and I can imagine because a lot of streamers do, and I think for you, having that extra little bit of a handicap with trying to keep up with it is, paramount to you
Mm,
as an individual. So I think that that's super interesting. There are a lot of streamers out there with, I mean, dyslexia in a way. I mean, we're not when we think about disabilities, we think about very large, dire circumstances for people. We don't really think about others. So, I've seen certain individuals that have Tourette's, for example, both physical and verbal. Much more physical because it's more common, and then like what you said with dyslexia, and those kind of hinder your ability to really interact normally with stream, and especially if it's fast. So thank you for sharing that. That's something a lot of people need to be aware of.
I mean, it doesn't exactly bother me in a kind of a bad way. It's just it is what it is, like, and I tend to fumble some sentences and shit, but it kind of makes for funny content too, because
Oh yeah,
haha, look at
yeah.
them creepy.
No,
I've
but
definitely trolled.
the difference between what you do and what other people do creepy is also you don't really share that. So if you look,
No.
I think that with Tourette's, for example, I see a lot of times people add it to their title because it's also going to
Mm,
be 18 plus really fast without them actually be able to do something about that if they have that type of Tourette's, of course. So I feel like they have added it to their title. It could actually
mm,
help talking about it or discussing it with chat so that they can, I don't know, help you or embrace it or even make it something about you that's in the channel. Like,
Mm.
hey, um, I don't know, exclamation mark dyslexic, and then write it wrong for funny things that you can actually talk about it and maybe
yeah.
educate the people who are coming into chat. Because I'm always in your chat and I'm one of the biggest trolls, but I'm also one of your mods and I always keep you safe.
Mm,
But at the
yeah, yeah.
same time, you never share that story while it's a very large part of who you are. If you combine it to everything that you're doing, not only content wise, but everything in your life
Yeah.
is affected by it. So for me, I would say if you have something you struggle with, um, share it and share it in a way that you still feel comfortable about it. But at least
Mm,
then, when people come in, they might expect something different from you. Like I'm a high energy streamer. I'm gonna set an example, and this is not about a disease, but about a reaction from a streamer that's like similar in the same line of this topic. I rated that streamer, and if I came in with like I think 90 people or something at that point, it was in my high days, and I came in, and that person said to the chat, "Hey guys, welcome in." He did really good on that part. Thank you for the rate, also really good. And then he said, "I'm sorry, I'm gonna be a disappointment because I'm not so much high energy as Kaiser." And I was like, no, 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 no. That's not what you want to tell people. They don't
mm,
expect you to be the same streamer as I am. They don't expect you to be high energy or anything else. They expect you to sell yourself at that point. And instead of looking at things like a weakness, I would say convert it and maybe use it as wrong, but maybe inform people about what's going on. And with that information, people can actually care about you, or your regulars
Mm.
can actually say something when there's a troll coming in, or anything like that, or mods can protect you better. I wonder if all your mods knew this, for example. Like, there's so many things that affect what happens with the engagement in chat, while you know things when the rest of the stream doesn't know yet. So maybe it should be a part of what's going on, in my
Yeah,
opinion.
mm,
you're 100% correct, and bringing that education out is important, especially to your audience, and
yeah.
turning it into something positive. A
Yeah.
lot of people, if they own it, I mean, it's yours. But I just to break the stride, guys, just to let you know, Cyan Cloud said a dyslexic creepy walks into a bra, but he knows that creepy would read that correctly as bar.
I don't
Also,
know. I might read bra.
Flemma has said it means you can't cheat on tests because it would take more time to get the other person's answer. I love
True.
it. Uh, but yeah, guys. That
So the tip that I really want to give the audience that's
yeah.
listening right now is stay true to yourself. If you're a phony, people gonna find out. Or you have to build a character like Dr. Disrespect. But then you have to be a great actor. So stick to yourself. Be true. And if that's the case, then the people who are gonna love your type of content are gonna be there. And at the end, when we are talking about chat engagement, that is basically already the early beginnings when you start to stream. There's no reason to be, oh, I need to be as good as Ninja. No, that's fucking nonsense. And you don't need to be a high energy streamer or wear a wig or whatever the fuck you're gonna do. That is something you can add to your channel in terms of like, hey, how can I make my content better? That is a different question. But talking about engagement, people should be there for you as you are the main attraction. So I would say when it comes to like problems, if you feel comfortable about it, share it and own it and work with it, and that's gonna help you. So that's my first tip when it comes to chat engagement and chat interaction. Be
Yeah. Okay.
yourself, stick to your brand, and be true to what you're doing and build from that.
I agree, 100%. I mean, I definitely would say that. Um, take yourself and put it into an overzealous role. Like, be an extra version of yourself too, because you are performing, and that segues into you know a lot of audience members don't realize that a dedicated streamer is putting on a show. Right? You're performing. You're putting on a show. You're not necessarily a lot of times acting the way that you would act outside of stream when you're relaxing and playing a game. Because when you're playing the game, this is where what Kaiser said earlier in Creepy, at times you want to play a game like Cyberpunk, but it's open world, but you're focusing on chat, so you can't really enjoy the game. You can't really enjoy something that you need to be really dedicated to if you're still small and mid-level, because you do need to put a lot of that effort into chat. So the game or the media is kind of be second to entertaining your chat. So, do you guys kind of feel the same about that? And do you worry about how well you perform in the game, knowing that you're
Yeah.
not really concentrating on it versus chat?
Those are two important questions. For me, the first one, I'd love to hear your opinion about it, Creepy. I fully agree. So for me, when the lights go on, I say stick to yourself, but it doesn't mean you can't be a showman. It doesn't mean you can't be entertaining or anything else outside what you would normally do. I have calls with you on a regular basis, Maddie, and Creepy, with you the same way. I am not the same person when I'm calling you guys as I am when the stream goes on. I even feel like I am talking more explicit during this podcast. I get more energy. I already feel it flowing as well. I was nearly going to bed, by the way. That's how tired I was. So I'm
Okay.
I'm sitting here and I feel the energy vibing because the lights are on and we're live. So this is for me when that extra step already boils up. That comes naturally, by the way. I always have that when the lights go on. That's the showman when we go live. That is the content that I want to bring. So yeah, I fully agree on that topic. Like, stick with whatever you're doing as close as possible to yourself. But with that, I don't mean step out of your comfort zone and try new things, or be a showman, or be explicit in things, or extrovert or anything like that. I'm not saying anything like that. I'm saying, yeah, the main reason people want to visit you is you. So be
Mm-hmm.
you. And next to that, try and be the best entertaining you. And
Yep.
start with that and then learn. So that's my first answer to that part. Creepy, how do you feel on that?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you're putting on a show, Creepy, the more or less, are
Uh,
you wor- are you focusing on being, like I said before, like an extra version of yourself, or exemplifying your persona? Um, are you putting on a show,
Always.
and is the
Always.
game second? Okay, so how do you feel about
Always.
that? Like, do you worry that you're not doing well in the game, or
But you
because I mean,
see,
Flemma, hold on one sec. Flemma makes a good point, and she does say that a lot of people do come for the game too, so you want to make sure that you're giving the audience what they want, but with also the flair of your own persona. So go ahead, give me your thoughts.
I don't play games that I have to um how would you say, like you said, perform well in.
Yeah.
So I generally don't play, like I do on the odd occasion. I would play like Apex or something like that, but I'm not going to be performing in that because I'm shit.
Mm-hmm.
one, I'm shit, and two, I can't control myself in game and then look at chat. So I generally play more story-based games. So it's more about making the game or twisting something in the game to be funny or exciting or bring them along the ride with me as long the way I'm going through the story. If you get me.
I
But
do.
we are friends, so I can ask you anything in this podcast, right?
Yeah, please make it as dramatic and crazy as you'd like. Let's go,
Well,
guys.
you also stream RPGs, and how do you feel you emerge in the story and take your chat within that story? Do you feel like on your channel
Like,
side? So when I'm talking about twitch.tv/creepynanas, enter,
mhm.
and then if you stream RPG, do you think you
Give
are
me an
already?
example of an RPG that I play.
Oh no, well, let's take the horror example. That House of
Okay.
what game were you playing with the rats? Man of damn it,
With
what's
the
the name? With the rats.
rats.
Yeah, Man of
Oh, that was the something
Chat. Help
innocence.
me.
Yeah.
The rat game
I forget.
with the lights that you scare them away. Damn it, what's the name?
Yeah,
I can't remember it anymore.
the girl and her brother
Yeah,
Are you
yeah.
talking about Plague
sacrifice
Tale?
sacrifice the child.
Plague
No,
Tale.
no. Sacrifice the child, Flemma. That game. I can't remember the name. Something innocence anyway. Yeah, okay.
For
That
me,
game.
that's the story-driven game. So that
Yeah.
game is like story-driven. The problem is if people don't know the game and they step into 50%, that's where
I
my
make
interest
okay.
comes. Like,
So what I would do, like I met Flemma for the first time playing that game, and she instantly loved. Like I was halfway through the game, but I came in and I was like, she's like, "Oh, how's the game?" And I was like, "Oh, this little boy is being a little asshole. He's really annoying. I want to sacrifice him to the order." You kind of
that
just
little boy
you.
was named Hugo, by the way.
He was, yeah,
Was it?
That's my
yeah,
son.
yeah.
Oh.
So like you kind of just have to you
A
can't tell
Plague
them the
Tale.
whole story. Yeah, Plague Tale, that's it. Plague Tale
Innocence, yeah.
Innocence.
Yeah.
Um you can't tell them the whole story because that's boring. What you have to do is try and pick them up with you from where you are and get them interested in it
Yeah.
by bringing in a funny hook or something that's good about the game or some big event that's about to happen in the game.
But I'm gonna be really
Yes.
honest with you.
Okay.
I feel like Maddie is way better when it comes to that than you and me. You and me,
Oh yeah.
we have the same flaw. We don't when we welcome people, we do that properly. You do it well. I think I do it well. We just say whatever you need to say. It's like, hey, welcome to the channel. My name is Kim Bananas. I'm from Ireland or Scotland, depends on who you're asking. I stream a variety of games, blah blah blah. I'm 35 years old, blah blah blah. And if I look at how Maddie does it when somebody comes in, he's actually basically explaining what game he's playing in a sentence of 4 to 5 max, because people lose their attention. So he does his
Yeah.
own introduction, thanks people for following, explains who he is, and then explains a little bit about the game that he's playing at the moment, and then takes them along in the journey. If you look at
Mm,
me, and I think you as well, but you maybe want to answer that question yourself. I still have a learning curve to do there. For me, when I'm streaming the game, um, chat always comes first, 100%. But my problem is that I make that more about me or what's going on in my life or with my channel, with my content, my brand, compared to the game that I'm playing. So
mm,
what I need to try and do better, or what I need to improve on, is actually that moment where somebody comes in and still have that warm feeling when he gets the chat, etc., and then better explain what is going on, what I'm playing, and where I'm at in the story. And I also
mm.
need to train my mods better. Like, hey guys, can you explain how far in the game we are at the moment and what you're doing? Because that's gonna help me when I forget. Because you can't
I'm
learn
not
that
that kind
like
of mod.
no, but for that's just an example. Like, if you want to take your content next level, we're talking about
Yeah.
chat engagement is also how do you keep people around and how do you stick around to people who are there for like an hour of your content.
Mm,
Many people leave after like 10, 15 minutes because they're welcomed, hype, 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 hype. I'm putting my hands up like hype, hype, hype. on top of the mountain, and then after that, the hype is gone, and we go back to what we were playing. And at
Yeah.
that point, you lose your audience. So what happens if you go downhill? When do you signal that for yourself, and what are you gonna try and do about it?
Yeah, right.
That's my
Absolutely.
question to you, creepy.
Oh, um,
My first question is: do you feel the same way when it comes
yes,
to explaining how far in a game you are, etc.?
yes, I do. I don't do it. Maddie does do it better.
Explaining it to is like Creepy had a great point too that I never really thought of while I was doing it. It's having a hook, and a hook is gonna make sure that you're delivering the information really quickly and getting the fish on the line, being able to hold them there. But when somebody comes into the stream, I feel like it's important to make them feel involved because I've been in a lot of streams where I have gone in and I don't know what the hell's going on, and I just kind of want a quick rundown, but I don't want to ask the streamer because, I don't want to take their flow away. So a big tip I would say is that if you were going to be getting a raid, for example, or if somebody's even popping in, some people might ask what's going on. Just have something prepared in the back of your head where if you're already enjoying the game, it'll come naturally, or whatever you're
Mm.
doing, and just give them an explanation. So yeah, Creepy's hook was right on point there. Um, wholeheartedly agree. So another thing that keeping chat engaged with is your talent. So Deadly Shot mentioned in chat that he finds it hard to focus on chat or be entertaining when he's bad in the game. FPS specifically, he prides himself on being good at shooting and feels like it's competitive. It's a competitive area for streamers. So going into being, let's say, a mid or top level streamer, you're gonna have chat that's gonna tidal wave. And like
Can you
if you go
explain
into
that?
somebody, if you go into somebody's chat, like Tim the Tapman, for example, or Doctor Disrespect, if they're not stopping and scrolling, I mean, they're not gonna read every message. They're gonna maybe grab the highlights or pick out somebody or grab a sub. Um, and they really do make it based off of their skill, whereas somebody like Doc has that mixture of entertaining persona, character, and skill. So there are a lot of streamers out there that don't necessarily rely on their engagement that you can see, but behind the scenes, the way that they're putting a lot of effort into their community, providing perks, etc., and putting on that show for you is a form of engagement. So Deadly, I don't want you to feel bad, as long as you're focusing on that, area of competitiveness, but at the same time, when you're smaller, you're still building up that community, and chat engagement is extremely important
Mhm.
when you're a small time streamer, because when you're bigger it comes passively. It just does. I mean, that's just the way it is. You don't chat Shroud doesn't need to interact with chat. He just doesn't. That's just the honest to god truth.
Yep.
But for now, yeah, definitely make sure you're doing both. Don't just focus on your skills even if you're good when you're smaller.
Yeah, the funny part is also when chat actually helps while being like last Friday, I announced that I'm gonna be a dad again for the second time, and while I did that, we actually went over a clip of your challenge by Creepy in the community with the banana, and we had such a great time. A new person came into my chat who immediately donated money, cheered, did subscribe to the channel, etc. And he was like, "This is fucking great content." So I feel like if you are, it's a combination, and it also depends on the type of channel that you're running. Like for me, I think that it doesn't really matter whatever I play. It's in the end of the day, it's still me that most people are there for. Not, it doesn't really matter what I play. And for me, I still feel like if I can get that hype going, if I feel the right way and the content is being delivered, chat is also helping me. Because if somebody steps into the channel and chat is buzzing, then people will automatically feel more welcomed or more part of a community on the fly when they're there. Like basically what you just said with Tim the Tapman, for example, he streams to like 45,000 people at the moment. And of course, he can't read chat. It's not an option if you ever see how blazing that is. But yeah, it's a part of being there. It's part of being the community, and such a funny and entertaining guy himself with what he's doing, and it's so smart put up and set out. I feel like He's probably for me the biggest example. Him and CDN the third are my two big content creator examples that you can actually learn so much from.
I would say as well, a big factor is chat will know if you're enjoying the game,
Yep.
and the hype in the chat will be equivalent to how much fun you're having. If
Oh
you're not
yeah.
having fun playing games, people are gonna leave
Yeah.
because
Yeah,
they're
they
No,
gonna
it's
rage
see
quit
true.
the
the
first time in COD.
they're gonna see the frustration, and they
Yeah.
don't want to watch that because it's not
Although they can
fun.
be funny as well if it's not lasting too long.
But yeah,
Right. And
yeah.
I think coming into a stream that somebody's not enjoying it, sometimes I'll pop into a random stream just to check somebody out, and I've come across people that just are so stoic and nonchalant about everything. They have no views, they've got no entertaining qualities, and they have literally no interest in the game they're playing. I think they're doing it because they feel like it's the thing to do, and don't do that because I mean you're never going to get an audience. So you got to make sure you're just enjoying it and enjoying the stuff you're doing. Because if I tell you what, if I see somebody who gets enjoyment from like tar and feathering themselves and they're having a ball, and then I watch Joe Schmo over here playing Cyberpunk and he doesn't give a shit and he acts like he doesn't care at all about the game, I'm gonna watch the tar and feather because it's hilarious. I mean, that's literally the choice I
Yeah.
made when I watched like there were these two adults that had a stream where when they had a certain goal met, they would switch off and on between a makeshift jail cell, and they were so entertaining. Like one person was the warden and one person was the prisoner, and it was just much more entertaining because they were enjoying it. So it really matters about how much enthusiasm you have for the content. Creepy's 100% correct.
Yeah, but I do want to point out that raging something or be angry at something is not necessarily a bad thing as long as it doesn't escalate
No,
into being something too long. Like you
no,
can be
that's
salty.
enthusiasm.
Yeah, you can be salty as long as there's sugar in the end. Like
Yeah.
No, it doesn't even have to be sugar. I think that what you said is correct and on point because that's enthusiasm. I'm talking about a stoic demeanor where you could tell if somebody's just disgruntled. Like I've seen people that just are so fucking salty about anything while they're playing, and then they go into this like woe is me pity party, and that's different than actually putting on a raid show. Raid shows, man,
Mm.
give me Deller. Like I want to see that. That's
but is
that's
that
that's
is that always
enthusiasm.
game based? I feel like if I may be so blunt, I think that there's also, let's say, half of the streamers. Yeah, I'm gonna say half of the people who stream who are not streamers. They are playing a game and turning on a webcam. That is not
Yeah.
creating content. Or you have to be the fucking very best. Then you don't have to say anything and you can just be the best. But next to that, I see so many people who are on Twitch who do nothing else than turn on the game, put on the webcam, and sit there. That is not creating content, people. For fuck's sake, How are you ever gonna be big if you're not the best or entertaining? It should be it should be in the middle of that road. Like we're talking about chat engagement here. I sometimes come to streams and there's just one dude sitting there or girl or whatever the fuck you want to be, and you sit there with a game in the background and you just stare in front of you. Sometimes you yell at what's happening and that's it. And of course, you get the welcome. But this really, I'm not sure if I get aggressive now because this really, really agitates me. Because they sit there, and then they are, and I type something like "hello," and then they'll be like, "Hey guys, and welcome to the stream. Thank you," and that's
Yeah.
it. And then after 2 minutes, you get, "How are you?" And I'm like, "Hey, I'm good. How are you?" "I'm doing really well," and it's back to the game.
Yeah, that place just go play offline.
Yep.
Go
Yeah.
do your own thing.
Exactly. That is not
Yeah.
content creation. So when somebody's in your chat, they are making time to be with you. And you
Yeah.
have to be the one that holds the fucking mic in front of the studio. And you have to do something to keep those people around to be like, yay, we want to
Yeah.
fight with you guys. That's what you need to create. You are the entertainer. And I feel so
100%.
many people are just like, no, I need the best webcam or the best overlay, or I need that no, that's I don't even have an overlay at the moment. I haven't had an overlay for like 5 months. I'm
Scrub.
working on it. I'm working
Yeah.
on. I'm
Scrub.
sorry. Yeah, I'm working on it. But that's exactly my point. I have grown my channel since I returned with 20%. in terms of regular viewers. So I feel
Yeah.
like I'm getting better and better and better because I'm back on a little bit of a schedule, although I fucked it up today. And next to that, I try to not be that person in front of the game with the webcam on. I try to be entertaining. I try to make people smile. And
Yeah.
if and whatever your content type is, or whatever you're streaming, if you're a niche, if you're an art, if you're a music or whatever, you still have that moment in chat where you have to ask the questions. What are you gonna do this weekend? How is your baby? How is your family? How's the game? Did you play Cyberpunk? What do you think? There's so many questions that you can ask. And if you struggle with that part, then for the love of God, make a list. Start with making a list and hang it on the side of your screen and be like, okay, what's my first question? How are you? And then work off that list and then start feeling more secure about it and then work from that point because chat is going to fucking die out if you don't keep them entertained. And I feel like I wrote a lot of articles about it and I always said it nicely, but this is how it is. Watching a streamer on a webcam play a game does do shite is shit content is never gonna work. You gotta be entertaining and you gotta do it in your own way, your way that feels comfortable in your situation with your content.
Yeah. It's showmanship.
I'm sorry.
Hands down.
Yeah, this really annoys me because people
Good.
are coming into my personal
generally,
DM
if
like,
I
oh,
go
sorry.
into a stream and I say something, like say a new person streamer I don't know, and I say something and I don't get a response within a little bit less than a minute, I'm out. Bye bye.
Yeah, it's important. It's important to engage with somebody who says hi. I mean, if you have the type of stream where you could see people that are in your chat, don't call them out. But when they say hi and they want to be part of the discussion, make sure you're engaging and at least saying hello too.
Yeah.
Don't let because if you have like 3 or 4 chat lines going on and you don't say hello to somebody, that's like.
But a bit like what Kaiser said as well, just
Yeah.
reiterating. Don't just say hi and that's it. Don't say hi
Oh,
back and then
absolutely.
go back to the game.
I gotta be honest, it happens with me sometimes. If my chat goes really fast, I sometimes miss people who said something in between.
Yeah.
I got some DMs on it, like, hey, you forgot me or you missed me, and sometimes people just start talking in caps. I am here, Kaiser, and I'm like, oh, sorry, I missed you the first time, and I try to make up with like that or give them a shout out, or do anything. But yeah,
That's completely normal. That happens to everybody. And what I meant was like the low chat lines, because a lot of streamers, do have a lot of things going on. Even if we have a sideways monitor, something going vertically, and chat going all the way up, it's inevitable to miss something. So a big tip to chat out there is if you're watching your favorite streamers, and if a lot of stuff's going on, it's very busy in chat, try again. Say hi later. I mean, you're gonna get acknowledgement, I promise. It's just they might have missed you, and they'll take care of you.
yeah, I think that you, Creepy, and chat also Deadly Shot, you guys mean like if there's nobody or hardly anybody chatting at that point, because then it's weird. But if chat is really buzzing, then it gets more difficult to filter out everybody and single out everybody that's trying to say something.
Oh no, like I like I've got into chats where there might be on 3-4 views. I go in and I am their chat and they're still not responding, and I'm like, okay, this is the reason why you're doing shit. Bye bye.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree with that one.
And in that case, guys, it is the streamer's responsibility to keep their interest there. So I've seen some streamers that are like, come on, like, why don't you guys like? Well, no, you need to start the discussion to the streamer, content creator. You need to start the discussion and bring something out.
Yeah, sorry.
That's it. Bring something to the table for somebody to feast on and return the conversation back to you.
Can I refer to something that Flemma is talking in chat about?
Yeah.
She said I paused the game and then scroll back up to make sure I didn't miss anyone. Maybe it's because your name. Sorry, that's something else. I asked this question while I was at TwitchCon because I struggled with the same, Flemma. I when I blew up, I was on 250 viewers and my chat had over I think 5,000 messages per hour. So there was no way, Jose, that I could read everything. So the tip there is you can't keep that going. You are growing now. Her content is so much better than when I first met Flemma, and she is fucking awesome. If you haven't done already, go check her out. Twitch.tv/Flemma93, your favorite horror streamer. And then, but for me, if you look at your channel, I don't feel this is just my advice. Don't do that. Don't scroll up and read again. It's for me a little bit unprofessional. What I would do um, what I would do at that point, if I was you, is ask the people to repeat what they just said. Like, I think I missed something from you, Creepy Nance. Can you repeat what you asked? So you don't have to go out of the game and scroll up, but you do get another moment of engagement with chat. And you can say something like, oh my fucking God, I'm getting so old. You guys are chatting so much. Stop it. Or go on, chat more. Let me miss more. Troll me. Make that a moment. For me, pausing a game, scroll back up to read something. I wouldn't advise that. That's a
It
moment where you have
interrupts
to.
the flow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Try to make
Yeah.
that moment. I did it too. Try to make that moment another moment where they have to deliver the content towards you in chat.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. I think that with what Kaiser said, kind of, using you as an example, Flemma, and everybody does this because I scroll too, and I think that it was kind of a tool that's very useful when you don't have a lot of engagement. But if you start to get into the hundreds of viewers and people are chatting, a lot of those chatters are creating conversations among themselves, and that's when chat starts to be almost passive for you, and you can still engage, but on a lesser level. You're never going to be able to catch up if you start
It's
scrolling
even with tens of
at some
people.
point.
It depends on how active the channel is. But yeah, you can have
Yeah.
100 viewers and zero chat, and you can have 10 viewers and a blazing chat. I would rather
Yeah,
pick the
but
second one, by the way. But
those are special circumstances.
yeah,
I'm meaning if
yeah.
everybody's engaged, you're not going to be able to catch up if you're using that scroll tactic down the line. But it is a good tactic now, and that's the important part. It is singling out and focusing on the areas of where you're at. So if you're small and mid-level, you have a plan there. When you get bigger, you have a plan there. You focus more on the character and passive engagement while becoming, more entertaining while you're focusing on the game, and lower, it's more chat engagement. So you do have a plan in place, and it's not to say it's wrong. It's based off of timing. So yeah, very wise, very, very
Just to
wise.
pick up on Squidward's question, that's a bit of a macro question. That's quite a larger question, but I would start with networking a lot more.
You have to
Yeah,
repeat the
no,
question because people can't read it.
The question is it's a bit off topic, but I'll stream every day for 2 hours and only average 3 to 4 viewers a stream. What can I do to do better? I think as well, don't stream every day.
I don't know if I agree with that specifically. What do you mean by don't stream every day?
I also say don't stream every day.
Let me hear your reason for that, guys. I'm
Well,
curious.
if I can kick it
Can I?
off, Creepy, for me it would be check the VOD. Oh, sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
No, go.
For me, it will be check your VOD, make your content better, work on your channel, set up your personal Discord, keep the Discord flow in, be active in it, talk to your community, ask your regulars about feedback. What do they like? So, what can you utilize more? What can you make better? Um, and also, if you only stream, you aren't able to watch a lot of other people. And I feel like watching others and networking with others is the way to go if terms of like getting better, because if you don't have an example, you have nothing to reach for. So for
Yeah.
me, at the end of the day, it is, I would say, schedule up and make it 3, maybe 4 days, and that's it. And the rest of the day, work on your content, make your channel better, invest time in OBS, learn OBS, invest time in scenes and overlays and chat interaction. Make sure that your bot does funny things. Think about your channel points, because we are talking about chat engagement here, which is basically the answer to your question. Your
Yeah, I
question
agree.
is, how do I get more viewers? Get a better chat. And your chat engagement is probably key for your growth. So I would say work on your channel points, work on chat engagement, work on timers, work on your bot, work on anything you can do to actually make chat better. I have one other example for that one, is when you look at Baron McBoom who's also a streamer, twitch.tv/Baron McBoom. He has a joke bot, and it
Yeah.
tells the most awful jokes. But once in a blue moon, it is actually funny. And he keeps it around because every time somebody pops up, they're like exclamation mark joke. And the bot says something. And that moment, he can grab that moment by repeating what the bot says, then either laugh or be like, oh my fucking god, what a horrible joke. But that will
Mhm.
still be content. I'm gonna turn off that bot, is what he says a lot. And I laugh at the jokes because I find them to be funny.
Yeah.
But I don't have a sense of humor. So I feel
I just
like
like
if you
corny.
yeah, if you keep it in the middle, that
Yeah.
moment is where you can build up on.
I agree. I think my point specifically was kind of like it's a subjective by person basis kind of situation. I think that two important factors here, and Cyan reiterated my thought in the chat, is how much of your A game you could bring. Don't allow yourself to get burned out. But, I believe that there are people out there that have the ability to stream quite frequently, to be able to bring that positivity and that type of passionate vigor every single day, and they have the time to work on their stream. It's rare. I'm not saying that, but I don't think you have to look at it as an objective blanket statement that you shouldn't do it every day, but find what works for you. Most people shouldn't stream every day. That's true. And you definitely need to be able to focus on your content and not burn out and not come in extremely tired, not showing that
Yeah, but you're
drive.
talking about the 1% there, Maddie. The 99% have, their daily working jobs, they've got their family, they got yada yada yada, and then they stream. So, somewhere in there
Balance.
you're gonna need to fit in the time to
Right.
work on your act.
100%. 100%. And you're right. I completely agree that most people cannot do that. But I definitely think some can.
There's always an
There's
exemption.
always an exemption. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. There's
But for
there's an
me,
exception to the
I
rule.
always say the worst advice somebody can ever give you on Twitch is stream every day. And I agree with Creepy. That's a 99% answer because that 1% you're singling out now, I fully agree on that part too. But that is the 1%. And I feel like the 99%, in that 1%, there's also a lot of partners because or if you can do that, then you're part of material. It's something maybe more of a goal that you can work towards too. It also depends on
Oh
your
yeah.
type of content. I'm a high energy streamer, so I die after 3-4 hours. And
Yeah.
yeah, you also stream 2 to 3 hours, Medi, and Creepy,
Yep.
you do the same thing.
Yeah, I can't do it every day. It would kill me. It would burn me out because you put on a show, but I like I said, by person basis, I don't think it's blanket, but I still think it's like you said, even if it's 1%, you have to look at where you're at and what you decide to do. The overall thing is, and I think all three of us are in agreement that most people cannot do it every day, and there's more things that you need to work on, carpentry for your stream and keeping your energy intact so you don't burn out, and you have other responsibilities. We definitely do agree on
Mm-hmm.
that as well. So another thing that I want to talk about is making sure that chat is engaged with each other, so you can also try to focus away to make sure that the chat is still rolling, and you don't necessarily have to be personally engaged on a one-on-one session, but as a group level, and chat will start talking with each other. Have you guys experienced that? Do you have any tips about how to get chat to talk with each other?
Can I refer to one more thing before we move on? Because there was something I was looking up. That's the quote I also dropped on Twitter. One more thing, Medi. Is that okay?
Yeah, go for it.
It's not my quote, of course. It was done by a very famous man, but you cannot keep doing the same thing every day and expect different results. And that's probably
Us.
why I say something like, what's going on with streaming every day? Because the streamers who stream every day, and there you go again, out of those people, 99% bring the same content, bring the same vibe, bring the same thing every single day. It's going to wear
Yep.
out, it's going to burn out. That 1% that actually invest the time still to make their content better or evolve or do new things or add new stuff or make the channel go left or right, those people they won't feel the burnout because they still get the rewards after they do something. It's just if you do the same thing every day, you can't expect anything else that you're doing right now. It might influx by people who step by once in a while, or it might bump up a little bit up or down depending on who is at that point a regular or who's time to watch you. But yeah, I don't feel in the end of the day um, that strategy is ever gonna work.
All right. Yeah, and that was the the big time big brain boy Albert Einstein that was
Yep.
giving the quote on insanity. So I agree with that. That's extremely smart because if you're continuing to push and you're not changing anything or researching and developing your own self, every day on a stream is going to be a disappointment for you and you're going to go crazy. Promise. So,
Just
very
And then
good
go
point.
to Mixer.
reiterate the question there, Maddie, and I'll respond with what
All
I
right, so we're
think.
moving on. So going into to reiterate, chat engagement with a personal level to the streamer is very important one-on-one, but there are a lot of streamers that are able to cause commotion or some sort of a communication mechanism in stream so that chat engages with one another. And it helps the chat continue, more people to jump in, it helps people stay longer. Do you have any tips about how to make chat talk to each other and bring that about?
Choose your mods wisely.
That's a very good point.
And what I
Elaborate.
say there is your mods are your second streamers. They, when somebody new comes in, they should be the first ones that should start interacting with that new person.
Yeah, it should be. I mean, I would say it's helpful. I mean, obviously, I would say the streamer first, but having a mod in chat is extremely important to
Well, I mean, yeah,
continue.
obviously, other than the streamer, obviously, but
Right, right. But to continue that dialect, and make the person feel more comfortable chatting. So that's extremely smart.
It does depend on where your channel is at the moment. I think that my
Mhm.
mods are like the backbone of everything I'm doing, and because of them, I feel safe enough to stream. But for me, I rather see them at some point when the growth continues. I sometimes hope that they are less visual to the first person who steps in than rather be the first. Don't get me
Yeah,
wrong. I love for them to be there, but for me, in the end of the day, I hope that people get connected to one another, like friendships that start within your community, and people who actually like one another. So I have two persons in my personal Discord who talk to each other a lot, which is dope. I made one a mod. I called him on Discord, and I made him a mod because he's been such a great person in my channel for a couple of years now, and they become friends. So when they are friends, at least digital buddies, and what they do now is when they come into the channel, they actually start to talk to one another while I play a game, because at that point I'm maybe not focused on chat, or I'm in a heavy fight or whatever, and then at some point I catch up and I'm like, oh, that's not for me, lol, and I move on with the things that are being said. So in the end of the day, if you can create a community that actually builds friendships amongst each other, that is probably the best thing that you can get, because if you can keep that going, then your chat is probably going to be like an MSN from back in the days, where everybody finds each other and start chatting. I feel like there's a lot of people who actually got to know each other through my channel, and
yeah.
I feel like that's probably one of my biggest rewards. um and yeah, if you circle back to the question, I feel in the end of the day that the environment and the vibe that chat brings and delivers as content, part of your own content, that is crucial for the success. And you gotta work with that. You, the same thing I said earlier about not hanging around just playing the game for the webcam is the same moment I'm talking about right now. Because when those persons come in and you actually start to learn about someone, for example, I had a fun time Foxy coming into my channel, and he plays a lot of WWE. I had another streamer in my channel who also plays WWE. So you
I
try.
do too.
Okay, well there you go. So when so what I could do at that point, if I knew that, because I never saw you play that, if I knew that, what I could have done and what I've now done between the other two is say, hey, you guys should connect. You should follow each other because you
Yeah.
both love the same game. You both have the community that love that game. Why not support one another?
No, it's
And
my
that
dirty little
way,
secret.
it's in that way it goes beyond just your content, and you can provide a community, a social platform where people can feel safe or be trolly towards you or whatever. I
Yeah.
feel like in the end of the day, that is for me, that's the end goal.
Yeah, that's man, wise words. And I think that keeping up with current trends, topics, and I would even say drama and any of those kind of controversial topics, if you bring it in chat, you're going to have people of different beliefs that might have, I mean, sometimes it turns into kind of a little bit vitriolic, but having people available to kind of talk about it with each other and get each other's opinions and even form debates, bringing those topics up are very helpful for getting chat to engage with each other. So there's many ways to do it, to engage with yourself and engage with each other. And I think we hit a good stride for giving you guys some great tips on how to make sure that you're interacting with chat and to have that kind of relationship grow with your followers, people that are interested in your brand. But one thing that I want to touch on before we call it a day, one more day, controversial nonetheless. What are some tips that we can give viewers of streamers? What are some things that are actually going to be looked upon negatively from the streamer if you come into chat? What are some like kind of rules and regulations that a viewer should know of?
No self-promotion, bitches.
Clip that.
Loggers, so let's play the game, guys. That's it. Let's wrap it up.
No, the self promotion is like the unwritten rule in Twitch. If you do that, the mods will be all over you and you get banned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's a no go. And in terms of like what you just said, Maddie, earlier about politics or anything like that, being controversial topics, I like to touch those subjects every now and then, but
Yeah.
that also scares me because what you don't want is to offend someone, or especially for my second language. Like we just had a big laugh earlier in the council meeting about first name in the Netherlands, and I'm not gonna repeat it, which is a very offensive word in English, and I did not know it until you told me. So the
I remember
chance
that.
that I'm ever, yeah, so the chance for me that I'm ever gonna say something wrong without me even knowing it is too big of a risk for me to go head deep into those type of subjects.
Yeah, of course. It's not for everybody, and I think that there's a balance you could stride to. Another thing is too, I mean, streamers need to remember, and I know that this isn't you or you guys, but I've seen streamers out there that are so nitpicky and so careful about taking the most gentle steps that they're feeling like they're on a very thin ice pond when talking to chat. And no, I mean, like, you don't have to wrap everything in bubble wrap. You can be a little bit more aggressive and talk controversial. Be yourself, because if you're gonna like be a fence sitter, because you're gonna have audiences that come in that want to interact with you, but just be yourself in your beliefs at least, is what I would say,
I
because
agree.
people will find out.
Yep, I agree. I make sometimes make a certain range of jokes. I had someone come in and say something about me not accepting everybody, and that kind of triggered me. That was also the moment I felt the urge to respond to that, and I went all berserk. Because for me, I don't give a shit what you are.
Good.
Man, woman, dog, cat, crocodile, whatever the fuck you want to be it. Be
Crocodile there.
yourself. Yeah, be happy. I don't give a shite what you are. And don't come into the channel start insulting the streamer over 2 sentences that you hear in the middle of a conversation. Like maybe that's
Yeah.
something like a point. Like I would never say this, and then the sentence comes in where you step in. I feel like, yeah, I'll even accept attack helicopters. That's no problem.
Well,
No, but
I
that's
agree.
that's also annoying.
I agree. I think that viewers too, and today age, if you're a viewer, if you're enjoying content, or if you're a content creator, either way, you have to have thick skin. You have to grow a spine, 100%. You can't be pussyfooting around trying to come up with a reason to be offended about everything. There's an actual line that people can't cross, and that goes into bigotry, sexism, just horrors that you shouldn't do. But don't be offended by everything and take it with a grain of salt, because
Yeah, but
you're
it's
never
also
going to be
circling
able to
back to
enjoy
the
content.
that's also circling back to the previous topic. If you suffer from something, or if you are something else than appearances might give you, yeah, um, then maybe be open about it and talk about it before somebody comes in. That they don't say, hey, dude, or hey, lady, when you feel the opposite sex.
Yeah, no, I mean, people should never be. People should always be what they want to be, and opening up a conversation and dialogue about that's fine. That is, what I said before about crossing the line. That's crossing it. But in certain aspects, a lot of
But don't
people.
we
I'm
all
just
do
saying,
that?
be able to have thick skin. Yeah, but
No.
not on purpose. Not on purpose.
Exactly. I come in and say, hey, dude, but I don't even look at the sex. For me, it's just a random word. But it can
Yeah.
offend people. So, yeah, there you go.
Yeah, well, what I'm saying is, no, if you say, let's say, if you say, "Hey, dude," and the person is transsexual and they identify as a woman and they correct you, then if you keep doing it, you're an asshole. If you do it the
I wouldn't
first
do it
time,
again.
I know. I'm just, but if you do
yeah.
it the first time, you haven't done anything wrong. Fuck that. You haven't. If they correct you and you're completely, respectful to them and you're acknowledging they are who they are from that point on, then you're fine. So there is a line. There's like a fine line there. There's a nuance.
Agreed.
Wow,
What else we should do? Well, the thing we already discussed. Don't sit in front of the camera. I think it's content. There you go. Don't blame chat in a serious way.
Right.
I always feel like it's funny to say like, chat, I blame this on you. I usually blame it on my co-plays. Like when I played Worms Battle with Creepy and Foops, I always blame Creepy, of course. # blame Creepy. That's fine, but never, ever lash out on your channel. Never.
Yeah.
If you feel that coming up, stop streaming at that point. Because that is going to hurt you so much more than it's going to give you. So for me, that's a no-go.
If you freak out on trolls, it attracts trolls, I'm telling you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Smell and wave, boys. Smile and wave.
Embrace it all. Have that thick skin.
I like
quietly ban them.
Quietly ban. Awesome, guys. I think we had a good discussion all around the board. I think that was one of the best episodes yet. And I wanted to thank our guests today, Creepy Banana and Kaiser, who helped us discuss some great ways to interact with your chat and to keep them interacting with you and your brand. So, Creepy, I want to give you the last word.
Hubbub.
You heard it here first, folks. Hubbub it is. We love you all, guys.
Oh,
we hope you have
I want to close as well.
Hold on, guys. We have a message from our sponsor, Ketchup.
Maddie, thank you for being such an amazing host. If you haven't done already, go check him out. Twitch.tv/Saint Matty Gruden. Yes? Gruden. Yes.
Thank you, guys. I look like Bud Light Keemstar right now.
You actually do. You just need
You're
the
very
golden
hot.
mic.
And now,
Mill model.
to the news. All right, yeah. But yeah, guys, that was wonderful. We're gonna end the stream, everybody. I hope everybody had a wonderful time. Of course, the VOD will be downloaded, edited, and put up to the YouTube channel. Only edited so we cut out some of the dead air so you guys can get the whole thing in full. And of course, the episode will be uploaded to Spotify, etc., all of our podcast providers. And we hope you enjoy it. Re-listen to it if you'd like to. If you're a new listener, continue on. We're going to be providing you guys tips and tutorials on how to better yourself as a content creator and discussing topics that lie within the technology and the creation community. We love you guys very much. We hope to see you again. Bye.